Hey guys, welcome back to Life As Designed podcast. I'm Vera, your host, and today it's just me and you guys in the studio. Yes, it's a solo episode and a more of a reflective one. And today's episode is titled Space in Between, the space in between. So I want to talk about something we all experience, yet rarely give enough space to address the in between, the space between where we started and where we are going, the middle ground, the middle of the dream, the build, the climb, the stretch, the waiting, the figuring it out phase. This is a space in between when the process is happening, when things are getting done, when you're building and you're dreaming, and of course you are being stretched to the max, I believe. So let's go into today's episode, and I want to start off with recognizing the stages of the space in between, right? So I think when we start something and we are so excited to begin, we are so eager to do it, we often romanticize the start. We are so eager to see something happen or manifest. The courage to begin, the excitement, and all of that is like the beginning of this space in between. And we definitely want to get to the end goal and celebrate the win, right? The launch, the promotion, or that I've made it or that you've made it. But what about the middle, right? The space where you are doing the work, but you are not there yet. That is what today's episode is about. That space in between when the work is happening, but you're not yet at the end goal. You're not yet at the destination. So where your vision is bigger than your current results. Where the dream is like loud, that's how I can best put it. Like the vision, the dream is so loud, but the resources, the clarity, the pause, they are still catching up to what you are seeing or what the vision is. So you are right in the middle trying to figure things out. The resources are probably limited. Things are probably not as clear as you think they are or they should be. Between is usually all of this. The in between is the quiet, is the uncomfortable part of the process. Sometimes it's very lonely, but it is real and it is very necessary. So this stage cannot be avoided. You start something, usually we start something and we want to see it finished immediately or quicker, but that is not how things happen. That isn't how our journey is as individuals, building our careers, building our life, or whatever it is you're doing, your business. Recognizing that space, recognizing you're not supposed to arrive there instantly. I think that's the sad part of the life that we are living right now, that we've been conditioned to expect things to happen very quickly because we are always fed with results. We are always shown highlights. We are always presented with a finished product most of the time. So we are now conditioned to that. Our mind is like expecting, most of the time you're expecting, you've been conditioned to see something at the end, like of the process, rather than seeing things how it is being progressing or how it's being done, right? The space in between, recognizing that in between is very important. You start something, the first thing you should be thinking about is, let me pace myself. It's not, oh, let me get there. Our first thought, I think, how we should approach this is, what are the tools, what are the things that is necessary for me to arrive at the end goal successfully, not like one and turn down or turn out or one out, whatever best way you want to put it. Now, personally, when I'm starting something, I am trying to put myself in the best position possible to make sure that I finish well, right? What tools, what do I need? What sort of mindset, what sort of resources, what am I needing, or what do I have that will equip me or that will enable me to not comfortably, I mean, like, the process is not a comfort zone if you're actually going through it or if you're actually doing the work. Like, it's a stretch, right? So it's a tasking process, it's a taxing stage. Like, that stage is demanding a lot from us, from you. Is demanding so much. And of course, as human beings, our brains are not conditioned to undergo such stress. Sometimes So that is why we have to find a way to not allow ourselves to approach it from a place of stress, rather from a place of content with whatever it is, that middle ground is, that in between space is. Just make sure that we are taking it in, making sure that we are embracing it and not trying to skip over things and trying to find shortcuts to get to the very final stage. So, space in between, that is what today's episode is. And yeah, by the way, it's a Friday. I just want to highlight that I'm recording on a Friday. So, and I hope that when you're listening to this episode, it will be like a sort of reflective one for you. And it will be something that you can listen to when you're winding down, or probably when you are trying to recenter or condition yourself into something new, or into starting a fresh week or whatever fresh project or whatever it is that you are beginning, or if you're already in the middle of something. I hope that when you listen to this episode, you will get like a refresh from it. So now the in between, you're starting something, right? So the early stages of the space in between is when you are starting, like I said previously, right? You're starting something, you're so excited, you are looking forward to celebrating your wins and saying, oh, I've done it, I've completed it, I've made it, whatever the terms are, right? So you're starting, and then slowly the stretch starts to happen, the loneliness, the sometimes, not all the time, the hard work. Sometimes you're not sleeping enough, or maybe you are. But the whole point of this is, if you are going through, like if you're in a space right now, an in between space where you are being stretched, or your work is demanding a lot from you. Let's say you're a leader in the space that you're in, you're running a company, or you're running a business, or maybe you're managing a project, or you're starting something, or you're at whatever it is you're doing, or you're going to work every day and it's so demanding. This episode also is for you. It's for you, and you can relate to it as much as I am, and probably other people are hopefully gonna relate to it. So I hope you're able to have like a fresh reminder of the space in between. Know that is okay. Know that it's okay to have that. This space is where the grit grows, where you question yourself. We tend to question ourselves a lot during this phase. A lot of adjustments happen here, pivoting, unlearning, relearning is happening as well. This is as the in between space progresses, you start to figure out or things, right? You start to realize some things. Oh, maybe this isn't working, maybe that would work better, or probably this idea, maybe we can, readjust here. And of course, all bringing together what is needed to achieve the end goal, right? So this space is where things don't always go to plan, because when you have realized that when I have ideas or what I am working on something at the beginning, of course, it makes sense. Then you start to like lay things out. You start to slowly go down that list, and then you would probably figure out, okay, this, because you're trying to test a concept, right? So you realize, oh, this has to be adjusted, this is needed, this isn't needed. So this is where you make adjustments. Don't be scared to make changes at all during this process. Don't be so rigid during this in between space. That's the whole point of this space, because if you are rigid, or if you are not flexible, or you're not adaptable, you will end up wasting a lot of time, or spending so much time working on something that isn't, feasible, or probably something that isn't making sense, right? So this is the stage, this is a process, this is the point where we or you have to adjust things, allow the ideas to evolve as much as it needs to evolve, without forgetting what the vision is, right? And of course, your confidence is sometimes rebuilt or tested in this stage as well. This is a point where things try to like have you questioning yourself sometimes, and other times you just have to reposition yourself, rebuild your confidence, sometimes from scratch, but not all the time. This space is not wasted. It's not a wasted time. It's not at all. It's very special. It's a very special and sacred in between space, because it's where we are becoming. It is where we are evolving. And this is what determines the actual results, to be fair. This is where you will tell whether something is going to be worth it, because it's what you're putting in. You're putting a good mindset. You're putting in joy, because most of the time you will find yourself probably when you're stressed, because again, stress isn't something that is good, but it's something that happens or that we experience. Most of the time we try to avoid it, but it's just there. So it's learning how to manage it. Just know that this space is not a wasted period. It's not a wasted time. It's a place where things are just evolving and you're becoming, and the work is getting done, of course. And I believe that is where things are working out. Even as much as it's not looking like it is, this is the best part of the whole thing. The in between is usually the best part. Of course, the win or the completion is, yes, oh, I've done it. But let's imagine we don't go through the process. We'll not have the end result, right? That is my perspective on this. Another thing I want to touch on for the space in between is finding ease in the effort. You have to find ease in the effort as well. Let's say you are working hard. I don't know what your schedule looks like. You are probably running a big company, a small company, a cake shop. You have a barber shop, or probably you're a designer at your company that you're working, or whatever it is you're doing. I don't know, whatever your career path is or business you have, you're doing that, finding ease in it. That is something that I'm also learning to do myself. I mean, I try to, but sometimes it's the practicality of it as well that makes us like, oh, I don't want to waste my time, or maybe I'm being lazy. No, for me, this is what I feel finding ease is like. It's not about no effort. I don't know if that makes sense, right? Not ease as in no effort. That isn't what ease is. I'm not saying don't do what you need to do. No. But ease as in flow. Like, let things flow. As much as you are doing the work, let it evolve naturally. Let it evolve, like, naturally, let it flow. Don't, let's say something isn't working, don't try to like force that thing that particular way, if that makes sense. So that is the sort of ease that I'm referring to. And how do we make peace with the process? Making peace with the process. How do you stay soft while building something, that is hard? Because if you're trying to build something, maybe you're working on your goals, it's hard. It is something that is hard. It's not easy to do. So how do we find softness in that? How do we find ease in that? It's just by allowing the process to be. I think just, yeah. I saw a quote this week, I believe, and it says, worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it gets you nowhere. Rather than wasting time worrying or stressing out, we can realign that thought into something that would make us be more at ease with the challenge, whatever the challenge is at that present moment. Yeah, finding ease in the process, in the in between. So I found that in the in between, you have to give yourself permission. So essentially, that is the point that I'm trying to get across, is finding ease is like giving yourself permission to rest when you need to rest as well. We have to allow ourselves to find rest when we need to rest. Give yourself permission to laugh, to be proud of the work, the little wins in between, because as much as you're waiting for the last celebration or the last goal to happen, or the end result or the success of the entire thing, you can also celebrate the little wins in between. You can ask for help as well. Enjoy your own company. For me, I just said ask for help. I'm not good at asking for help, but I've learned over the past few years, I wasn't good at asking for help. And yeah, and now being an adult, having my own business, I've realized that it's important to ask for help, like seek for what you need to be done. Like, I mean, like, let's say, for instance, you are working on a launch campaign. You can't do that alone. You need, other people to handle the moving parts as well. Of course, resources in terms of financial aspect is also important. Like, yeah, you can say, okay, I don't have the money to pay for someone to do the job or do da 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 da. But you can ask. There are people that are able to do one or two things because it's you, right? And you don't have to pay for it. I don't mean like in the professional way, like they have to spend so much hours working without getting paid. No, that's not what I'm talking about. That's not what I'm saying. More like, let's say you're having a lunch, right? Oh, I need someone to help me pick up something from a printer's shop. You can ask a friend to help you pick that up. Maybe they live close to the printer's shop. You can ask them to help you pick that up. So that is help, right? So help don't have to be something very grand. Of course, sometimes it might be asking for something more grand or bigger, but there are processes, there are places that can, support certain kind of help. So just remember to ask for help when needed from family members, from your friends, from your community, people that support you. Just, let them support you. You can ask them. You never know where, the help might come from. And of course, remember that the work doesn't always feel like fancy or glamorous. Yeah, because sometimes we are looking to feel good all the time, and that is not realistic. You can be all shiny and fanciful 24/7. So knowing and bearing that in mind is also important. Sometimes winning is just like you showing up, showing up in that present moment, and things fall in place eventually. And also like knowing in the space in between, knowing that you are not behind, because I feel this is one of the major part that our generation or currently people are struggling, or that we are struggling with, like knowing that you are not behind, because everyone have experienced some sort of a timeline that has been imposed on them, or that they have allowed to be imposed on them by the society or whatever it is. You are not late, you are in the middle. Just know that. That's something to remember in this episode. So this space right now that you're in is part of the plan, is part of the process. And some of the most important breakthroughs come right before the momentum kicks in, That is what this space is for. The breakthroughs. I just had to pause for a minute. Like the important breakthroughs, when you think about it, is just during that in between space that it happens. So imagine, just let's think about that. Imagine you trying to avoid the in between space. That means you're going to miss out on that breakthrough, on that opportunity. I think this is a time for everyone. I mean, globally, in your community, or in your friends circle, or whatever. Let's start celebrating the space in between. Let's actually make it a big thing. Let's make the space in between a big thing. We have to think about it again. Like the space in between, let's make it a big thing. The process should be the main thing, actually. It is the main thing. I feel like because it's hard sometimes, or a lot of the time, so we have decided to make it the struggle phase and try to avoid it totally. And it's not possible. It has to happen. It's something that is needed, that can be avoided, to be honest. So it's okay to want more and still be grateful for now. So that is something to remember. Be grateful, gratitude with the present. Build slowly but intentionally. I don't mean like be sluggish. That isn't the ideal. But yeah, however, pace yourself slowly. You can take breaks, you can be intentional and still have a fulfilled process or life or vision manifested at the end. To not have it all figured out, but still show up with your whole heart. That is so important. You don't have to have it figured out, but show up with your whole heart. Show up for yourself, show up for your people. That is something to ponder on. I was asking myself, like I've said a lot already, but I also like asked myself a few questions, like what are the things that should be done in the in between? What can you highlight that should be done in the in between? So in the in between, I would say anchor yourself in things that you find joy in, faith, in family, in love, in whatever it is. Find anchor in that. Purpose and community. Find your rhythm. whatever it is that grounds you, whatever it is that you love, that you enjoy. There are so many things I can say for this, but I'll just keep it as simple as possible. Just anchor yourself. Anchor yourself in faith, in joy, in laughter, in family, in community, in the beauty of the small wins, in gratitude. Anchor yourself. And this is something I'm intentionally doing right now because over the years I've had so many ups and downs, and finding my anchor in joy, in family, in God, in faith, in the things that gives me joy. It's just what life is about. Because when it does come together, and it will, believe me, it will, you'll look back and realize that this space shaped you more than, the outcome ever could have. So let's have that maybe on a sticker somewhere. Anchor yourself. I can make a post on social media. You can print that out. Anchor yourself in joy. Anchor yourself in family, in community, in faith. Because at the end of the day, it will come together. Trust me, it does come together. Things eventually comes together. It's not supposed to be a lifelong space in between. That isn't how things are. That isn't how life is set up. So have that in mind. And yeah, that is for space in between. And that is for today's episode. Wherever you are listening from today, if you are in that in between, the space where your dream still feels like it's very distant from you, the job is unfinished, the story is still mid-chapter, I just want to say you are not alone, you are not failing, you are not lost, you are in the process, you are in the space in between. And that is a powerful place to be. That is a purposeful place to be. That is the best space to be. That is the best place. That is the best part of a journey. That is the very best part of the journey. I hope today's episode has added some sort of value to you. And if it did, thank you so much for listening. And thank you for hanging out with me today. It's a very laid back episode, and that's what I wanted it to be. And yeah, please make sure you've hit the subscribe button and the like button and share this episode with someone, because I believe it will resonate with a lot of people. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. Until next time, just keep designing the life that fits your purpose, not anyone's timeline, your purpose. Until next time.